F1 Manager 2022 was a great start to the series when it launched last year. Being the first officially licensed F1 management game in over 20 years, there was a lot of hype around the first installment from Frontier, but we would be lying if we said it was perfect. Overall, the game did feel a little lacking in parts, with no sprint races, basic pit stop mechanics, and no realistic driver development in the support series. However, if there's one thing Frontier excels at, it's listening to player feedback, and because of that, F1 Manager 2023 has had some serious upgrades that add depth to an already impressive management title. I'm Mark from RacingGames, and here's why you should be excited about F1 Manager 2023. First up, let's talk about driver development. This was a big complaint about F1 Manager 2022, the fact that F2 and F3 drivers show no signs of development until they join an F1 team. Well, that's no longer going to be an issue, as both support series will be fully simulated every season. Not only will the overall championships be simulated, but individual races will also be played out behind the scenes, with players able to see the results of every single race. Drivers will develop based on their results, meaning the likes of Teo Porcher and Gabriel Bortoleto will be gaining valuable experience long before they step into your reserve seat. No longer will drivers stagnate outside of F1. Speaking of reserve seats, wasn't it annoying in F1 Manager 2022 when you wanted to replace your reserve driver but couldn't wait until the end of the season to bring in their replacement? Well, guess what? New to F1 Manager 2023 is the contract start date. Now you can choose whether to sign your new drivers immediately or wait until the end of your current season. No longer will you be forced to fire your drivers mid-season, unless you still want to, of course. I can already hear team principals around the world breathing a huge sigh of relief on that one. Finally, we have the actual driver development itself. The development system has been overhauled for F1 Manager 2023 to add new features and mechanics. Team principals will be able to choose a development focus for each of their drivers, with experience now being used to upgrade the skills specifically within that focus. Skills will still only be upgraded one at a time, but this adds a much greater level of control to how your drivers gain ability over time. Good weekends for your drivers will lead to more experience gained, whereas a bad weekend, or a spell out of the car, will see your driver's skills begin to decline. Age can also affect a driver's development, so bear that in mind when trying to get your more seasoned drivers to World Championship glory. It's not just off the track where driver performance is critical. New to F1 Manager 2023 is driver confidence. Visible across each race weekend, driver confidence is a visual indication as to whether your driver is under or overperforming during each session. If your driver has high confidence, it's a good time to tell them to push more for that overtake attempt. But if your driver has lower confidence, they'll be more likely to make a mistake and potentially take themselves out of the race. Telling your driver to drive more aggressively also now has a visual result. Drivers pushing more will take more aggressive lines through corners, ride curbs, and even get the power down sooner coming out of corners to try and gain that extra advantage. Likewise, telling a driver to be more conservative will see them staying off the curbs completely and coast more into braking zones. Both driver confidence and driving styles are impacted more this year by tyre management. Tyre temperatures are simulated both on the surface and within the carcass itself, increasing or decreasing tyre wear depending on conditions such as track surface, driver ability, and whether you're telling your driver to push or not. Telling your driver to push for extended periods of time will result in the tyre temperature increasing rapidly, causing significantly more tyre wear. So no more setting your drivers to push from the start, then sitting back and waiting for lap 30 to pit. Tyre wear and the need to push will vary according to each circuit, however, with some tracks requiring a more aggressive approach to sustain tyre temperature and some needing a more conservative approach if the track temperature is already high. Weather will also have an effect, with colder conditions leading to tyres cooling more rapidly. Drivers leaving the pit lane after stopping will also have much colder tyres than in F1 Manager 2022, so also bear that in mind when telling them to push from the get-go. The differing driving styles and confidence levels will also lead to more wheel-to-wheel action and overtakes, with aggressive drivers doing everything they can to get past a more conservative driver. If your drivers do bang wheels for whatever reason and go off track, they will attempt to rejoin the circuit as soon as possible rather than come to a halt like in F1 Manager 2022. Your driver's control skill now also reduces the impact of any potential spins during races, definitely a cause of many annoyances last year. For team principals hoping to tell their drivers to push all out in the sprint, we have good news. All 6 2023 sprint races will be in the game this year, so get ready to throw all tyre strategies out the window when those roll around. Finally, we have the off-track decisions. Races are not just won on the tarmac. Valuable decisions taken at the team's HQ can alter results drastically, and none more so than the staff you hire. New to F1 Manager 2023 is the Sporting Director role. In real life, the Sporting Director is responsible for all manner of on and off track aspects of the team, but in F1 Manager they are primarily in charge of your pit crews. The Sporting Director leads the development of your pit crew throughout each season, with new choices available for how they train. Team principals can now choose to make their pit crews more efficient when it comes to pit stops, or even train them to take more risks to save those precious tenths of a second at the crucial moments. Pit crews are also responsible for setting up the car for each session, be it practice or the race itself, so you'll need your best crew available at all times. If any of your pit team get fatigued, their chance of making a mistake will increase, so pit team management is just as important as driver and tyre management. Pit crews can be trained to avoid mistakes in all elements of a pit stop, but that won't reduce the risk completely. Tyre guns can still jam, so keep an eye on how things go each time your cars pull into the box. Financial incentives for optimum pit stops will be available, and the annual Fastest Pit Stop award will boost morale if your team is skilled enough to win it. Along with managing your drivers and pit crews, there will also be an array of new dilemmas you will need to make crucial decisions on. Dilemmas in F1 Manager 2023 will be more frequent, with some requiring a series of back and forth emails to eventually resolve. Don't think it's only you making these decisions though. Other teams will be facing similar issues throughout the season, with press questions revealing how other teams are handling their own dilemmas. Cost cap issues will occur during each season, with decisions needing to be made so as not to breach your spending limits, and car development is now far more involved. Aero parts are now inspected after each race, with some possibly needing replacement if they're too worn. A new durability focus has been added to car development, with parts of a higher weight having increased durability, and lighter parts being more flimsy and liable to break sooner. You'll now have to balance up the cost and risk benefits when developing new parts, so as not to risk breaching the cost cap regulations by having to constantly replace worn parts. With all these new features and changes, it now feels as though F1 Manager 2022 was definitely the warm-up act, with F1 Manager 2023 being the main headline event. All these new features add to an already solid title to create a whole new array of possibilities. On top of everything we've covered today, there are even more new and exciting features coming to this year's game. Race Replay is an exciting new game mode coming to F1 Manager 2023, which will bring players closer to every twist and turn in the 2023 Formula 1 World Championship, allowing them to rewrite key moments. We'll have more to share on this soon, so be sure to subscribe to the channel now so you won't miss out on that when it arrives. What do you make of these new features coming to F1 Manager 2023? Let us know down below, and why not hit the like button while you're there. For now though, thanks for watching. I've been Mark from RacingGames, and we'll catch you here on the channel for another video soon.